Welcome, most beautiful spirits, back to the Elements of Spirit. This is the weekly reading series from ediblespirit.com, and I, your host, Michael Domitrovich. I've missed you. It's nice to be back. It's been a few weeks. I've been basically around the world. I'm a very different person. If I wasn't certain of that, I knew it was true after I had an incredible allergic reaction to the state of Los Angeles, the state of the world, the state of myself. I share this because I think it's important to remember right now that everything's really happening, right? All the stuff that is happening is actually happening. We are poised today, freshly with Mercury gone retrograde, freshly with a full moon in Gemini, full moon, supermoon in Gemini. So lots of potential for deep inner understanding from this moment about the dualities around us, the dualities within us, just lots of deep inner understanding, which is also being churned up by Mercury retrograde. So lots of understanding coming to us over the next 3 weeks when, shit is basically not deadlocked, but being caught up in the cycle of the holiday season, right, is officially upon us, post-Thanksgiving, pre all the rest of the holidays. And then, to top all of that off, we have, at the end of that period, the solstice happening, the winter solstice, shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. And there's a lot of stuff, this isn't an astrology site, this isn't an astrology reading, but we talk about it because it's useful to understand some of these dynamics that are going on. And the elements of spirit are built off of the astrological elements, or the correspondence between the elements and astrology, earth, air, water, fire, and your signs. My point is that we're in a really interesting moment where we're learning lots and we're having a lot of truths told. I think this is due to Jupiter in Scorpio, which happened actually before I left on my big trip, but which was around October 10th and has been kind of blowing up. To me, it's been almost like an exterminator bomb, like blowing up inside of the house of, the world and the US and, maybe your own house too, in which there's this big expansive force of all of this stuff kind of coming out of the shadows. And my sense now is that this Mercury retrograde is giving us information about what's coming out of those shadows, and that even the supermoon in Gemini is sort of setting the tone to understand the tensions or relationships or conflicts or harmonies between, polar opposites and between also like internal opposite sides of ourselves. So my point is, all of this is to say, hopefully some of that's useful for you, but my point is that all of this is to say, it could be very easy to lose track of what's real right now. It can be very easy to think that these sort of inner shadowy forces that are trying to express themselves are not real. Or very easy to think that whatever insanity is going on outside in the world around you is not real, because we're engaged in this Mercury meets Gemini meets Sagittarius meets supermoon space, which to me almost feels like such a hyper-consensual buy-in into the technological, digital, astral drama, just all of the drama, all of the polarity, all of the insanity. All of that's happening on this plane of, the ether, really, or on this plane of the Aquarian age, the plane of the internet or the media or whatever. And it can sometimes, we've talked about before, it can sometimes start to feel like it's all happening out there. And yet, if you're in turmoil in here, it's nice to think that it's happening out there, but I remind you, it's actually happening. Like, we are all this far away from, some huge nuclear bomb going off, or from some maybe huge nuclear truth bomb going off inside of your own self in your own life. So I've gotten so much that I've brought back from my frickin' travels that I am working to infuse into edible spirit and to share with literally everyone I come across, and to just try to take whatever I've learned and apply it in some way. So the first thing that I'm bringing to you right now is like, remember, this is all happening. Everything that is going on right now is actually going on. And it's worth, I think there's some Neptunian influence around here that I don't know about, that is reminding us, like, you know, like reality check, reality check, reality check. This is happening. This is happening to us, or this is happening to me. It's a interesting moment. So take that in service. I hope that's useful. And now let's see what else has to go on in this space of the elements of spirit. The reading for ether. Weekly readings through the elements of earth, air, water, fire, and ether. Let's see what's going on with ether. So the ether gives us not a hat, but this almost like, here's you and me, you know, us, we're people. And there's this, like, it's not a merry-go-round, it looks like a racetrack or like a train track. So they're just showing us the events kind of going by, all of these events that are happening, and it's saying history always repeats itself. This has happened before, probably to you as well. What are you doing differently now, today? Okay, and now it, like, something, it just pops right into my head, and it's the affirmation for the whole week. Today is an extraordinary opportunity to change. Well, so it's funny because we get the affirmation first, and then we get the explanation after. So the affirmation, today is an extraordinary opportunity to change. This is true every day. There's a sense in this image of the sort of merry-go-round. When I was watching this, I don't know if you remember, I think it's from F.A.O. Schwartz back in the day. Welcome to our world of toys. Welcome to our world of toys. Right? Like, ding, 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 ding. Like, it, what the fuck, you guys? Like, what? Everything keeps popping off with such alarming urgency, and it's all urgent and it's all real. So what do we do? So the guidance, the elements, the element of ether this week is reminding us history always repeats itself. This has happened before, probably to you as well. What are you doing differently now, today? So there's two meanings in there. You've either experienced something vibrationally like this while in form, in this body, in this life, in this incarnation, potentially also experience something like this in a past life, or as my buddy Dan would say it, your consciousness has the ability to recognize this moment based on frequency and experience that is already encoded in your being, in your consciousness. So the idea is I'm basically trying to talk around past lives and reincarnation here. I don't need you to believe in past lives or reincarnation. I've seen some great confirmations. I don't care about fucking evidence, but I've seen some wonderful confirmations. So my point is that if you are into past lives and this idea that you've probably experienced something just like this moment before, whether you were alive in this body during the Cuban Missile Crisis, or whether you were in form during the ancient civilization of Lemuria, which may or may not have exploded from a huge technological catastrophe. The idea is that somewhere inside of your DNA is coded a recognition of this moment, enough of a recognition of this moment to remember that these cycles go around and around and around. This is not a reason to sit back and check out and do absolutely nothing, but it maybe is a reason to sit back and check out the scene so that you are not just being lulled into autopilot, so that you can actually say, what are you doing differently now, this time, today? What are you doing differently than the last time you felt fear like this, than the last time you felt sadness like this, than the last time you felt helplessness or even trauma or violation, or maybe you feel super sensitive and very resonant with anyone who's ever been dominated or subjugated or harassed or assaulted. The idea is that something in you is recognizing that and lighting that and calling you up, not just so that you go, that subjugator, abuser, aggressor is bad, or that poor person who was harmed or hurt or assaulted is good, so that you can actually say, whoa, I am really strongly connected to this whole conflict and dynamic, and maybe I'm siding with one person or situation or another, but the whole point is that I'm recognizing this pain or this conflict or this dynamic as something which is alive and valid and vibing inside of myself. So I'm going to wake up and not just go, he's good, she's bad, he's good, she's bad, he's good, she's bad. If you have strong feelings about, this recent swell of sexually related power dynamics that are being exploded and expanded throughout the media, what are you doing to make sure that the people that you love and the people that you care about, the children specifically too, that you love and care about, know how to dismantle sexual power dynamics? How are you making it so that the boys and girls and everything in between that love you and that turn to you or that look to you or that even rely on you, if you're being lulled out of sleep by strong feelings for some kind of conflict, what are you doing to communicate whatever you've just woken up to those who actually need to hear that message? What are you doing? So the affirmation that comes through this week is dope. Today is an extraordinary opportunity to change. Again, that's always true. It's always an extraordinary. Every moment is an extraordinary opportunity to change or to stay exactly the same, right? Within all that is changing, right? But point is, today is an extraordinary opportunity to change. Subheading, what I do, what I vibrate, who I think I am. So what can you do differently? What can you say or radiate differently, right? Let's say can we go there? Yeah, sure. Let's say you're being, vastly triggered by the slave markets that are happening in Africa. You could bitch. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. Or you could not bitch and give a little money and have some good conversations. Or you could not bitch, not give money, and really resolve to make your entire existence about the freedom and liberation of all sentient beings everywhere. You could decide that today. You could decide to get rid of all your belongings, right? And hop on a plane and go to Africa and lend a hand, right? You could do anything, right? Anything you wanted to do, you could. Change what you do, change what you vibrate. The hardest thing to do is change who you think you are, right? Maybe you think of yourself as a person who can't do anything differently or vibrate differently, in which case the best change that you can make today is to go from being someone who sees themselves as weak and disempowered to seeing themselves as someone who is strong and full of purpose. Maybe tomorrow is the day that you act on that purpose. But the idea here is from the read this week, is to just make sure that the merry-go-round of, it's not even distraction. What's cool about this, we've talked about distraction before, but the merry-go-round of world events, right? The atrocities, the shocks, and the horrors. P.S. I have been more shocked and horrified than ever before. So if I seem like I'm nice and cool and detached, I'm not. I'm like totally subject to the highs and lows of what's going on. It's just such good distraction. It's such good television. It's such good Instagram. It's such a good fucking digital whatever. Point is if I'm just watching the merry-go-round, then I'm basically just watching TV all day. I'm not doing anything. I'm not vibrating anything other than But if I remember that today is an extraordinary opportunity to change what I do, what I vibrate, or who I think I am, I don't have a ton of work to do, but I can do it all. And I think it's all in the affirmation. Today is an extraordinary opportunity to change. No matter what's going on, no matter what you think is locked and loaded, there's always more to the story. Sometimes our projected outcomes of dead ends and fears or traps or bottlenecks even, they end up getting manifested, reflected back to us through manifesting, right, in real time. So my father was a cockeyed optimist. I am a ridiculous romantic and idealist. And it goes back to the initial message from this reading. This is all happening, right? So if you don't like it, try not to just be a passive observer. If you don't like it, either be an active changer or at the very least be an viciously active dreamer, right? Make dreaming the work. Make the planning of the execution of the dream the work. But there's an oh shit bar moment here, which is really saying, don't let the merry-go-round of everything make you forget that these events are really happening. This is our reality now. And if you don't like it, if we don't like it, we gotta be working to change it yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The steps for those changes are going to be different based on the, condition and character and quality and spirit and soul and essence and personality of every man, woman, child, individual, across the board. But part of the glamour of thinking that all of these things are happening on the internet plane or on the television plane or on the astral plane is that we almost buy into the dream, buy into the illusion by participating in the illusion, by watching the illusion. So how to shift the focus into a bigger dream, or how to shift the focus into a, better reality. The read this week is even being a little gentler with us. It's even saying, hey, remember, you have options. Remember, you have options to change. And especially when it seems like you're at a dead end and everything's been decided for you, you really still have options for it to change. Stay tuned this week. Jump on the Edible Spirit mailing list at ediblespirit.com or go to Instagram. You can tell I don't like soliciting like this, but stay tuned because there's a lot of cool stuff actually legit popping off and coming out now. I'm going to be doing the psychic trance sessions, the performance piece that I've been doing with Dan Ryan in LA. I'm also taking around the Aura Pix project, these digital aura portraits I've been doing. If you want to do an event with those or schedule sittings with those or have a cool space that you think would be into the Aura Pix, go to ediblespirit.com/AuraPix, check it out, forward it around. Basically, long story short, the big shift that's occurred since I've been away is that I'm still going to be offering all of the fun stuff and content and things that I've been offering to you guys for a while, but we're gently shifting the focus of Edible Spirit away from just one-on-one and teaching and events into full-on events and creative projects offerings. We don't need more words. I feel like I'm more interested in offering beautiful, creative, delicious experiences. So tune in to the rest of the readings this week. Earth, Air, Water, Fire. This has been the Ether reading for everyone, your affirmation. Today is an extraordinary opportunity to change, and then parenthetically what I do, what I vibrate, or who I think I am. But all you really need to use throughout the week, keep reminding yourself, today is an extraordinary opportunity to change. There has never been a better opportunity to change than now, or now, or now, or now, or now. Mwah, I love you. It's good to be back.